Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X.
Hey man, Ish.
You already know what to do. Please make sure you like and share this broadcast if you are on Facebook. And like I said, if you are on Facebook, please make sure you go ahead and like our Facebook page at X Talking Ish. If you are on YouTube, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button on X Talking Ish and go ahead and hit that notification bells for shows like this one in the future.
Ding.
Thank you for that, Ish. And as well, if you are on Twitter, please make sure you go ahead and check us out on Twitter, X Talking Ish. I went ahead and retweeted it on my personal page. And of course, before we get into these games, as you can see, I'm in a festive mood. Of course, Christmas was just yesterday, but Christmas usually lasts the whole weekend, and when it falls on a Saturday, so we are of course going to extend the Christmas festivities into this pregame show. And hopefully, everyone out there had a great Christmas. Ish, how was your Christmas?
Oh, it was great, man. It was great. The kids they had a fun time. They got all the stuff that they wanted, way more stuff than I thought they got originally. So I was a
Okay.
little taken aback by how
So
much stuff we got added to the
Santa,
house.
Santa dropped off some gifts that you didn't even know they dropped off.
Yeah, Santa was a little too nice this year. I'm gonna have a talk with Santa.
Nah, I got you on that. Man, I of course, if you haven't paid attention to my life the last couple of days, I was able to bring home my Christmas presents with my beautiful daughter Noelle Simone Wynn Williams. So I'm happy that I was able to bring home my daughter for Christmas. And other than that, man, hey, it's just a blessing to be alive and enjoy this Sunday afternoon of the NFL Week 16. We break it down. The other person out here was giving presents besides Santa Claus was, of course, Baker Mayfield on yesterday's game with all the turnovers he was
Chill,
giving up. We will not
chill.
go into that game just yet. Y'all will have to join us on Tuesday as we wrap up the week of Week 16. So luckily for Baker, we won't get on him just yet. We'll save that for the post game show on Tuesday. But right now, hey, like I said, it's the Week 16 pregame show. We're gonna go ahead and start with the Chargers and Texans right here in Houston, Texas. Ish, I'll go
Why?
ahead and let you start this one off because I've already
Why?
said too much. We gotta talk about it because it's on the slate. That's why.
No, no. The Chargers gonna win this game. There you go.
No, they're not. Who knows? Maybe it might be the upset. The upset. We thought the Lions were gonna beat the Vikings 3 weeks ago, right? I'm sorry.
I
We thought
predicted
the
that.
Vikings. I'm sorry. We thought the Vikings were gonna beat the Lions 3 weeks ago, and that
No,
didn't
no,
happen.
no, no, no. I predicted the Lions were gonna beat them.
You didn't make
I
that pick though.
just I
You
didn't
made
make
that
the
pick though.
pick because I wasn't stupid.
Okay. Well, the Vikings thought they weren't stupid either when they went into that game. Thought they were gonna get a dub too. Things
Okay,
happen.
well,
Things happen.
stop playing around. The Chargers gonna win this game.
More likely than not, especially due to um, NFL draft seeding of next year. We're going to assume that the Texans are going to pack it in this season and go
We said
ahead
that
and
last week, and then they went out and they beat
and beat the
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville
So
Jaguars. Yeah, this is very true. But obviously, the Texans didn't want the number one draft pick, so they went ahead and let the Jacksonville Jaguars have it because, of course, this is the organization we call it can't get right. When you're supposed to win, you lose. When you're supposed to lose, you win. So I don't know how you do it to yourself, Houston. It's honestly beautiful to watch on the outside looking in because it's like a self-destructive time bomb. Honestly, is.
you crazy.
Hey, it is what it is. All right. Other than that, ain't really too much to talk about that game. Other than your boy Justin Herbert, could this be a launch board game for him for the remaining three weeks of the season to help maybe put some momentum in a playoff swing into the Chargers moving on to finish off this season.
Let's hope so. I mean, we've been talking about teams getting ready for the playoffs for maybe the past 2 weeks or
Mm-hmm,
so,
mm-hmm.
and playoff battles. I mean, really, the playoffs have already started when you think about some of these battles that are going on, and it just doesn't seem like anyone is really taking a hold of these battles and just running away with it. Everybody seems to be in a situation of like, oh, I got the lead. Let me lose this game so you guys can get back in it, and then oh, okay, I'm gonna play now because I don't have the lead anymore. It's just you hope that one of these teams eventually just steps up and tries to win the wild card spot or clinch something, but we'll see with Justin Herbert and the Chargers. They've been up and down as well. This is an easy one for them, a softball with the Texans. So let's hope that they take care of business, like we keep saying these teams should do, and they win.
Now, like you said, there are going to be games out here on the Sunday slate where going to be important divisional games for playoff seedings. Going to be some games where some teams are, of course, 10-plus point favorite over teams where you're supposed to take care of business and move forward as the better team. There are some games out here where there's some games that just both teams have nothing to play for. So it's really about pride, and we'll see how those teams come out, because when you have two teams, and just use an example, the Bears and Seahawks, we'll get to them very soon, where both teams are not in the playoffs, and you have a young quarterback with the Bears, and you have a veteran quarterback with Russell Wilson, most likely might be leaving at the end of the season. What are y'all as a team playing for now? That's what I think is interesting to see across the league going into Week 16. What are some of these teams playing for? Because everybody gets paid, but that pride shit, that's a different check that you cash at the end of the season. All right, let's go ahead and talk about, like I said, with these NFC East the division matchups. We assume the Dallas Cowboys should win that division the way that they've been playing, but you have the Eagles charging and trying to make a second half comeback with the way they've been playing, especially the way they've been running the football-ish. We both picked the Eagles to win this game, especially due with Danny Jones being shut down for the rest of the season. New reports saying that Daniel Jones and, of course, head coach Joe Judge will be coming back next season. This is coming from Adam Scheffler. I respect the decision with the Giants, because the Giants as an organization are saying that they still need more time to be evaluated as a coach and a player. Because let's be real, we talk about this a lot. There's a lot of organizations that don't give people time. Mm-hmm. I respect it, but I just feel like some cases we look at and we see on the field that it's pretty glaringly obvious that this individual is not a good fit. We know that you're a great supporter of Danny Dimes. You love your boy Danny Dimes. But if it's not Danny Dimes, then maybe we also need to look at Joe Judge and what he's drawing up to game plan wise going into each game week in and week out. So for the Giants, this is now a fifth consecutive losing season. You really have not been the same since Eli Manning, and it's before he retired. I'm talking about since Eli Manning's prime area of the early 2010s. Really, you haven't been the same in a decade, really. So what's the direction that you go in if you're the New York Giants? Because you're going to be on the last year of Danny Jones contract, and you're going to be on that third or fourth year for Joe Judge contract. And I'm assuming that they're going to, of course, let both of them play it out to see what happens, because in the long run, it saves you money. But looking at this organization moving forward, I'm worried if I'm a New York Giants fan, because I just don't know directional wise where we're going, because every draft pick that the Giants make, it seems like that team gets worse. I've never seen this before. So Ish, help me out with these two teams and what you see in this game this Sunday afternoon.
Just addressing the Giants, like you said, there's a lot of holes. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed with the Giants. What direction are you going in? Does management clearly support the, like you said, the head coach and the quarterback, or do they want to change them? It's hard to say. Like, they say they're coming back for another year, but is there really support there, or they just feel like there are no better options at the moment, or nobody's going to want to go to New York?
I mean, that's honestly how I see it. Because let's be real, New York talks about, and I'm talking about the teams, the media, all this, they talk about it always being a hot market. And I respect that, I do, but New York as a city, to me, I feel like the New York Yankees are carrying New York as a city because of the sports teams. The New York Jets hasn't done anything. The Giants haven't done anything in 10 plus years. The Knicks haven't done anything since the 80s. Okay, haven't been a finals since 1999. And like I said, the Mets, they suck every year. So New York wise, I think New York sometimes as a city, they need to remember that we're in a new era now. This isn't the 80s, 90s, and 2000s where New York is the Mecca. We've seen Kevin Durant made jokes about people going to the Knicks, right? Nobody want to go to the Knicks no more. We're going to the Nets and moving forward. And I just think that sometimes the New York as an organization, all teams need to maybe sometimes humble yourself and take a step back and realize that maybe y'all not as good as y'all think that y'all are, and maybe y'all not as a marquee of a destination as y'all think that y'all are as well.
So real quick, I'm gonna give you a pass for being disrespectful to NYCFC because they did just
Oh,
win.
you're correct. I
They did just
forgot.
win the MLS Cup, so they're doing
I
something. They haven't
forgot.
been doing anything for the past couple years, but they did win the MLS Cup this year. So let's show them a little bit
I
of
have a
love.
question though. Aren't you somebody that also talks down on MLS though? No, I'm just asking.
We're not talking about that
Okay, no. So
anyway.
for no, they continue. Okay, I just make sure.
Yeah. So, but in this game, though, like I said, addressing New York, we'll see where that goes. We're gonna have plenty of time for that as the off season approaches and going through the early off season phase. For the Eagles, though, they were able to get a result on Tuesday, but you're still kind of wondering. It didn't look pretty. You're still wondering what's going on. Jalen Hurts looked okay. I'm still thinking that Gardner Minshew should be the guy. He played a lot better. So Jalen's got to play well in this game, especially against a team that you're heavily favored against. Now, the one thing to note, Nick Sirianni did test positive on Wednesday, or he was added to the protocol on Wednesday, the head coach for the Eagles, and then he just passed protocol, I think, this morning. So he should be there. So they will have their head coach with them. But still, that's something to manage. But I'm going to pick the Eagles anyway because the Giants are 0-7 in their last 7 tries at Lincoln Field. So they're not going to win this one. It's not going to be 1-7.
Trend wise is not a good look. Also, of course, the Giants are starting not rookie quarterback. I'm sorry, first start for Jake Fromm. He's been in the league for a couple of years now. Jake Fromm was a very promising high school quarterback at one point in time, coming out of Georgia. A lot of
He played
people,
well at Georgia, yeah.
a lot of people felt like he was better than, of course, Justin Fields, who we'll get to very shortly, and other quarterbacks coming out of that class. But let's be real, college and NFL are two completely different leagues, and for Jake Fromm, for me, I feel like he was handicapped at Georgia. I think that he could have played better just for some reason. I think coaching at Georgia is just it's another story for another day. We'll talk about that another time. But be interesting to see how Jake Fromm plays. I want to see how he plays out there with nothing to lose. He reminds me, honestly, of Colt McCoy. That's who I've always looked at him as a quarterback type of. Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, go look at how he throws the ball and look how
Bro,
he
Colt
plays.
McCoy is better than that man. Don't do
I
Colt
never said he.
McCoy like that.
I never said he wasn't better.
No,
I'm
he
saying
don't.
it
He's a
reminds me of
poor
Colt
man's
McCoy.
Colt McCoy.
That's perfectly fine. He's still Colt McCoy in a sense.
Nah, poor man's Colt McCoy.
Anyways, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the Rams and the Vikings. Honestly, Ish, I expect this to be a pretty good game. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Vikings do what they do, which is take a touchdown lead and find a way to have the lead going into the third or fourth quarter and find a way to lose this game. And I'll be disappointed if they do that. But the Vikings this season might be one of those top 5 teams where you look back on and say, man, they were a disappointing team due to all the talent, due to the way Kirk Cousins was playing. And I wouldn't be surprised they win this game, but I just feel like it's just still it's too little too late, especially some of the games that you've given up. The Vikings at one point in time were charged, were surging at the right direction, and so all of a sudden you slip up and lose games you're not supposed to, of course, to the Lions. And I just felt like after that, it's something in the locker room. It's a foul stench. I don't know about you, Ish, but it just something in the locker room just it just doesn't smell right to me. It doesn't look right to me because again, if you have a quarterback that's second best touchdown to interception ratio in the league, and you have a running game, you have two pretty damn good wide receivers. Defense is doing this. I mean, what's really going on in Minnesota? I'm just not understanding why this team cannot get over the hump, either going with Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, or even from Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss. It seems like the Minnesota Vikings have talent on talent on talent, and if you are a Minnesota Vikings fan as well, you know this. Every year you just get so close, but you just cannot get across the finish line to cap off the great regular season that you had. And I don't know where the Vikings go from here. This is another team like I talked about with the Giants where what do you do moving forward? I think they cut ties with Kirk Cousins because I think both of them have done enough for each other. And if you're the Vikings, where do you go? I think you're going to take a couple steps back. I know moving forward without Kirk and whoever you got, but who knows? Maybe they could find a way to land the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Maybe Minnesota might come out of the blue and grab somebody that we don't expect them to have next season, and maybe they play better than Kirk Cousins, right? So we just don't know yet. This is just my opinions on how I feel about what's going on in Minnesota. But with the Vikings, with the type of talent they have, they shouldn't be 500 at the moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think this is the story in Minnesota, right? Like they always have a really good team, a really solid team. They just never really able to put all the pieces together to make a solid run, right? Like they never are able to make it all the way there. There's always something that holds them up.
I have a question.
And
I have a question. I'm sorry to cut you
yeah,
off.
go ahead,
Could you
go ahead.
compare them? Could you say they're the northern version of the Cardinals?
Yeah, I could definitely say that. I could definitely say they're the northern version of the Cardinals. They're just always a really solid team, just never can really put it together. Not to mention you got the Green Bay Packers in your division, so it makes it a little
Yeah.
bit tougher for you every year, especially with you have Brett Favre, then you got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you couldn't have any worse luck. As far as the future with them, I think they're going to end up sticking with Kirk Cousins because there is really no replacement unless they really feel like they can go out and get an upgrade as far as like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Maybe there's a reunion for Theodore in Minnesota if they feel like that's a good situation. But I just don't see a true upgrade there. So I think they're stuck with them. One thing to note for this game today, Dalvin Cook is out because of COVID procedures or on the COVID list or whatever
Protocol.
protocols. Yeah. So they are missing Dalvin Cook. That's a big strike against them today. That's one of the reasons why I'm not picking them today. And also, if the Rams win today, the Rams will clinch a playoff spot. They are still in the running to win their division because you have the debacle that's going on in Arizona right now. So that's another incentive for them to win this game because you could potentially end up winning the division if Arizona continues to try to hand it to you. So I think the Rams are going to do a good job. I do expect a good showing though from Justin Jefferson. I think he's 65 yards away from being the first player in NFL history with 1,400 yards in each of his first two seasons. So that would be a big accomplishment for him. So I expect him to go out, ball out, and it'll be good for him, but bad for his team.
You're 100% correct talking about Justin Jefferson, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, and also wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams, Cooper Kupp, with the season that he's having. If he's continuing on his pace, he could cement himself as the NFL's wide receiving leader and yards, which of course Matt Stafford would be the quarterback to throw to both of those wide receivers, going from Megatron to Cooper Kupp. So I thought that was just very interesting note as well. I do have the Rams winning this game, as everybody can see. Rams are our 3-point favorite, but overall, one thing that surprised me with the Rams, I don't know if anybody saw this with Adam Scheffler, but they they brought back Cam Akers,
Cam Akers
to the active roster. Well, I'm sorry, not the active roster, but the active roster to be able to get his pension, pretty much be able to get paid throughout the season. But my question is to you, Ish, and I'm hoping again, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know Cam Akers personally to know what he's doing outside of the facility. But an Achilles injury is a very serious injury, especially if you're a running back, especially if you're an explosive running back that needs his speed, all right, when it comes to the type of position that you play. I don't like a player like himself being rushed to, I don't know, to play this year. I don't know if that's what they're trying to do. I don't trying to save him for the players. I don't know, but I think a young person like him who already has a history with injuries needs to take this injury very, very seriously, because if the injury that you have, if another injury comes on top of that, another serious injury, your career could go from 7 to 10 years to 3 to 4 real quick. We've already seen just in the last 5 years, where is Todd Gurley? Where are some of these running backs where we thought some of these guys were going to have promising careers, and all of a sudden 1 or 2 injuries and they're not even third-string running backs on rosters anymore. So I just want to see what happens with the Rams moving forward. I think that they win this game, and I need to see Matt Stafford make a statement as well in the playoffs-ish. All right, speaking of making statements before the playoffs, this is a game where not just the Bills, but I think the Patriots as well both teams are having another opportunity to make a statement to each other because this game is now officially battle for first place in the AFC East. We saw what happened just a couple weeks ago on national television with what the Patriots did to the Buffalo Bills at home. It was not pretty. It was one of those fights where the bully was on top of the little kid and he just kept punching and kept punching and kept punching and kept punching. And the kid on the side just said, "Stop punching him! He's dead already!" And the big guy just kept punching and he just kept punching and he just kept punching. That's what happened. The Bills got embarrassed at home. And to be honest with you, maybe that was the best thing for them. Maybe that was something that they needed to wake themselves up and maybe have an extra little motivation going into Foxborough to maybe pull off the upset because they are going to have everything go their way and everything's going to have to go right for them to win this game. All three phases of the football, offense, defense, and special teams. That's the only way that they win this game because at the moment too, the Buffalo Bills have injuries and COVID players that are out to where there are guys like a Cole Beasley who will be out for this game, who is kind of important. Two guards that are out for the Buffalo Bills as well, who are kind of important to the offensive line. So with that being said, yes, I do have the Buffalo Bills winning this game, but I'm not confident at all, to be completely honest. But I do want to I do want to pick the upset because I do feel like the Bills can pull off the upset. And I do believe because it is a divisional game, the Bills can find a way to split this. But if it was not a divisional game, I think the Patriots will win this game, blah, blah, easy win for the Patriots type stuff. But because it is the divisional game, I don't see the Patriots winning this game 30-0. I think let me go check out the weather right quick. I think weather should hold up. It shouldn't be too crazy of a game. New England's only favored by a point. It's 41 partly cloudy. So the weather isn't a factor at all this game compared to what we saw in Buffalo. So I think if Buffalo is able to put pressure on Mac Jones and make Mac Jones win the game for New England, Buffalo has a chance to, of course, win this game. Ish.
I think that what you said right there at the end is the key to the game, right? How much do the Patriots change their game plan after the last meeting where they ran for 222 yards against this team, only threw the ball 2 times? I mean, are they going to continue more the same? Are they going to try to pass the ball more? Obviously, they will pass the ball more, but how much of a split are we going to see on the play calling? That's going to be something to see because the Bills going into that game, if you remember, everybody was talking about that run defense. Everybody was talking about how the Bills had a great run defense, they had a great defense, and they only went out there and got embarrassed on national TV. So, I mean, you got to sit and you got to think to yourself, like, is this a revenge game for the Bills? Are the Bills really going to come into Foxborough and look to prove a point? Because if they win this game, they take control of the division. And, I mean, that's the best spot to be in, the driving seat of the division. For me, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think that it's return of the boogeyman. It's going to be one of those situations where everybody knows when you have that person or that team that just constantly beats you. And then you start to get a little bit stronger and you think, you know what? I might actually have a chance. And then they beat you again. And then you start to second guess yourself and you're kind of thinking like, well, I thought I had a chance, but maybe I don't know. Yes, return of the boogeyman. Bill Belichick and this New England. I just don't think that the Bills are going to beat them. I think that they're going to sweep the Bills. I think that the Bills are going to get in their heads about it. If it were the back half and it were in Buffalo, maybe I would say the Bills are going to split it.
And I respect that. And I respect that.
And you're going there and you got whooped at home. I just think that Bill Belichick gonna finish the job. He's just gonna, laugh and he gonna do the little secret smile across the sideline just to let them know, like, you thought, but not gonna happen. So, I mean, I just don't think the Bills gonna do it. I respect the Bills. I think the Bills are still a solid team, but they're nowhere near what they were before. I don't think they have the confidence, like you said, all of the COVID protocol situations they have going on. I think all of that just adds up to a loss for me.
I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from on everything that you're saying, and I mean, you are right. Let's get this comment right quick from Lee. He said this would be a super interesting game. Ramon Stevens is out for the Pats, and Damian Harris is playing. but isn't 100%. And on snap count, time to see the Red Jones 100% agree. Going into this game, Belichick made a joke, of course. He hasn't seen, of course. Or, sorry, they was talking about McDermott not seeing Mac Jones in the passing play that they have for the next time that they play him. So, do I expect Mac Jones to throw the ball 50 times this game? Hell to the no. But it comes down to Buffalo defense. Can you stop the running game? Check mark. Okay, if you stop the running game, now you as the defense have to make Mac Jones uncomfortable. Because
Yep.
surprisingly, all season long, a lot of teams have not made Mac Jones uncomfortable. That's the reason why Mac Jones have been able to play pretty well throughout the season because he's been upright. He's been
Yeah.
upright. He's he's
People not getting to him.
he's taking care of his reads. I'm sorry. He's checked on his reads. If the reads aren't there, he goes down to his check down running back. And all it is just Tom Brady year one. I'm not comparing to Tom Brady. I'm just comparing what Tom Brady did year one with the Patriots, as in manage the game. We don't need you messing up the game. We need you managing it. So when we are in the fourth quarter, we actually have an opportunity to win the game. That's all what Mac Jones is doing. He's lost some games that way with the Cowboys. He's won some games in this way to where he only had to throw the ball 3 times last time they played against the Buffalo Bills. So I definitely why pick Patriots and why Bill Belichick might take out the samurai sword and say, yeah! And then Bill's head just gonna go, and then just slide off. I understand why Ish feels that way because I felt that way too after the Bills got that ass whooped. But I feel like everybody needs a slice of humble pie from time to time, and it tastes good for you. It might not taste good at first when you eat it, but when it go down the esophagus right down to the stomach, it tastes good. It tastes like some home
Yeah,
cooking,
nice
and
try.
they needed that. All right, Lee also
Not when the
says,
boogeyman.
hey, I'm just saying, you are correct about the boogeyman though. Yeah. Leo says that boy's composure is incredible. Never looks flustered or under pressure, even when he's taking hits. Yeah, I mean, it's even though I get on him all the time by not following through on his throws. If y'all check out how he throws the ball like that and then just little curl up. I need to follow through on the throws, but he doesn't get flustered. And he's been like that since high school. So it's interesting to watch the evolution of Mac Jones. All right, Buccaneers and Panthers. Not too much really to talk about on this one. Besides, Ish, I don't know if you've seen the reports. Apparently, the Panthers are going back to Sam Darnold. Apparently, Sam Darnold will be getting more of the snaps, and it looks like Cam Newton is back on the bench. We remember what just 4 weeks ago. Apparently, that bad guys. We said let's wait and see how things play out with Cam and stuff because everybody was so quick to ride the Cam train, which is understandable. I like Cam, you like Cam, we all like the Cam, but records are what they are, passing stats are what they are, and the Panthers have to make a change, and they are making a change. Now, who knows? Maybe they listened to X talking this last couple of weeks and listened to X what he said when it comes to maybe start Sam Darnold, and then Cam Newton comes in and saves the day, and you ain't got to take an L on the record wise for Cam because you ain't a starter, so you get a win. So maybe Sam Darnold comes and starts the first series, and then Cam comes in and they win the game, and everything's all happy and good again, but not against this Buccaneers team. It's not happening. Buccaneers are getting ready for another playoff run. Buccaneers going to take care of business. Like I said before, this is a game where teams need to take care of their business, and this is going to be one of them. Ish.
Yeah, I expect the Bucks to clinch the NFC South today with the win over to Carolina. I just think this Carolina team has too much going on, too many question marks. The way the quarterback situation has been handled in Carolina has been atrocious. I think it's at the point now where we got to start questioning Matt Rule and his position there in Carolina. I think he's going to get another year because Sam Darnold got hurt, and some people may question and say, well, he got off to a hot start. Then he got hurt, and even in some of those losses after, they would kind of started to slow down. And maybe there was a little bit of promise there. So if he has another year in the Matt Rule system, he'll be able to perform at a really high level. So I think all of that is going to give Matt Rule another opportunity and Sam Darnold another opportunity. But for me, this season is done, over, dusted with. They've got so much going on, so many distractions. I said the Cam Newton thing was a problem coming in when he first got signed. a bunch of people were like, "Oh, it's good for morale," and so on and so forth. We try to tell y'all, look at where it's got y'all. Look where y'all are now. All this morale and good for the team spirit and whatnot. Happy-go-lucky bullcrap. Yeah,
What is
it
this, middle
only
school
got you so
football?
far. It only got you so far. So, Carolina, just go ahead. Don't. My one thing, though, to say about Carolina. Don't go out there and get Sam Darnold hurt, and then you really messed
Mess
up.
up trade value or something.
Yeah, then you mess yourself up for next year as well. Like, don't go out there and get that man hurt for real, because if he goes out there and he gets injured, a long-term injury or something, we're hoping that doesn't happen. But if that were to happen, goodness, it's only going to get worse in Carolina. So I don't know why, when they're not competing for anything, they're trying to play Sam Darnold. If I were them, I wouldn't play Sam Darnold. I'd just go with PJ Walker the rest of the year and just, call it a day. But hey.
Can I say something before we move on, Ish?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know this happened last week, and a lot of people may have forgot or whatnot, but it was all on the social media, on the interweb, as the young kids like to call it. The Buccaneers got blanked by the Saints last week, 9-0, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people like to laugh at Brady. I know a lot of people love when Brady takes L's, and I completely understand. But have we not learned over the last 20 years by now? Have we not learned? Have you people that watch football or casuals that watch football, have y'all not learned when the lion's over there, you leave the lion be? This is not a bear, this is a lion. You leave him be. Y'all poke the lion. I'm calling it right now, okay? I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have injuries all over the field. Godwin's out for the rest of the season. I got that. But y'all poking the lion right now. And am I saying Tampa's going to win the Super Bowl? No. To be honest with you, I think Green Bay might come out in the NFC the way that Green Bay's playing, especially if Aaron Rodgers stay healthy. But y'all keep poking this bear named Tom Brady. Do y'all know who the Buccaneers play the next 3 weeks? The Panthers, the Jets, the Panthers. You can go ahead and chalk that up 3-0, and they about to make another playoff run. So again, if y'all keep making fun of Tom Brady until Tom Brady's in another Super Bowl, and y'all be like, damn, how Tom Brady getting the Super Bowl again? Man, it's not fair. Stop giving him goddamn ammo. I blame all of y'all. Stop giving. Y'all need to say, damn, Brady, you the best quarterback I ever seen ever in my life. Then he'd be like, you know what? Damn, you're right. Maybe I need to go ahead and walk off into the sunset. Maybe I need to. Man, stop telling him he sucks. That's why he keeps on. That's it. That's why he keep coming back every damn year.
You foolish.
I'm right, and you know I'm right. Jesus, a quarterback named Tom Brady that's better than these two damn franchises put together. The toilet bowl, as we call it, it seems like every week we have a toilet bowl, but this is the toilet bowl of toilet bowls because this is the first ever matchup of the number 1, number 2 pick in last year's draft, Mr. Trevor Lawrence versus, of course, Mr. Zach Wilson. And for them to meet up right now this late in the season, it definitely does suck for both of them. But I'm happy for both of them for battling, or for them to be able to even play this late in the season, because they've had to battle through their fair share of injuries, and to be able to play in this type of monumental game. This is only the 4th game in NFL history where number 1 and number 2 pick played in the same game that following year after the draft. At the moment, the number 2 pick has a better record at 2-1. Ish at the moment, it looks like both of us are picking the Jets. So if the Jets were to win, of course, the number 2 pick would be 3-1. Ish, why are you picking the Jets?
Because the Jaguars, the most points they scored all season is 21 points, and they've only done that twice. Twice.
That's not good.
Yeah, not good at all. This team is not very good. They actually happen to be worse than I think anyone thought they were going to be. I think people thought they were going to be bad, but this has been, and I know you want to chalk it up to Urban Meyer. I know a lot of people will chalk it up to Urban Meyer. I'm gonna chalk it up to they don't play in London all the time because they're a different team when they play in
I'm
London.
chalking up to Urban.
They need to go ahead and make that move official. Khan, I think you own a team over there in England anyway. Just go ahead and move this team over to England as well. You would do a lot better. Trust me, you'll win a lot more games. But this week, I just think that I'm not saying that Zach Wilson's a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence. I just think that Zach Wilson's in a better situation. He's got the better weapons. No, maybe not. I don't know. He's just in a better situation. Okay, better defense over there, better team, better environment, better organization. Yeah, better everything.
A little tidbit as well too is also remind everybody head coach for the New York Jets, Robert Saleh. My bad, Saleh.
Yeah, Salah.
He'll be
Salah.
out. He'll be out for this game due to COVID protocol as well.
It don't
Seems
even
like
matter.
this is very true, but it seems like no matter where you look, all around the NFL and NBA, somebody's out with COVID. And hey, if everybody want to keep on acting like it ain't a thing, then hey, y'all can keep on acting like it ain't a thing. But hey, it ain't going away anytime soon. All right, let's go to toilet bowl number 2 of the day: the Lions versus the Falcons. The reason why this toilet bowl number 2, besides the Lions playing, why in the hell at the moment the Falcons are 0-5, not on the road but at home? Falcons. We understand, like, how it is playing in Atlanta from time to time. Atlanta fans a little ficky and whatnot. Don't know if they actually like y'all or not. But 0-5 though, seriously, you 5-3 on the road, which again makes no sense. How you go 0-5 and 5, whatever. My point is this is a game that the Falcons should win. You're supposed to win. Get you at least one home game on the season. The Lions, of course, are, like I said before, a team fighting for pride now. You have 2 wins on the season. You have 11 losses and a tie. So, I mean, you got some fight in you. But with the Falcons overall as a team on both sides of the ball, I feel like they're just a better team. This one, I think, is going to be sloppy. But I will say this before I actually move on, and I have not been able to say this all season long, and I'm upset with this because I'm just mad that we haven't given this man his roses before the season's over with. Mr. Cordell Patterson. He is giving another version of what a Swiss Army knife is supposed to be out here in the NFL streets. I mean, he is playing wide receiver, running back. If he wants to, safety. Return man. And I mean, won't be surprised Matt Ryan get hurt. They put him as quarterback as well, too. I know he can sling that thing. And for Cordell Patterson to do what he's been doing this whole season, I mean, if they had they talk about MVP, that what he's doing should be an MVP talk. I know if he's not going to win it, and I know the Falcons aren't even seriously should be in the conversation, but what he's doing, that is another layer of what an MVP is supposed to be, most valuable player. If you don't have Cordell Patterson, the Falcons are a 3-win team.
Yeah, the Falcons have been doing well, thanks in part to Cordell Patterson, also thanks to Kyle Pitts, who has been doing really well. I think he's like 5th in receiving yards for a rookie tight end all time, so that's pretty cool. He's been doing really well. No Jared Goff today is why I picked the Falcons. I think if Jared Goff was playing, I might have had a little bit of a question mark here because, like you said, 0-5 at home. Atlanta doesn't play well at home. Atlanta likes to, mess around when it comes to playing some of these teams that are a little bit lower than them in the standings. So I almost thought about it if Jared Goff was playing, but Jared Goff's not playing. Tim Boyle, I think, is the starter. Yep. Yeah, not going to happen. Atlanta better win this game.
No, I definitely understand where you're coming from on that. And, yeah, I mean, Jared Goff, it's a significant drop-off from Jared Goff to their second string. And it's not like you're going from Lamar to Mr. Huntley over in Baltimore.
So Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, who, of course, we're about to speak about very, very very, very shortly right now with Baltimore versus Cincinnati Bengals, who I mean, this game really could be for the division if things play out. And the Ravens, to me, I think need this win way more than the Bengals. But just due to injuries and COVID, unfortunately, the Ravens just down to, I mean, we call it skeleton crew on this show, but I mean, it's not even a skeleton where they're at right now. It's just a bone. I mean, they have a kneecap at the moment. I mean, it's horrible the way the Ravens are looking. But to be honest with you, like I say every week on the show, nobody cares. So yes, I'm not trying to be a hoe. I'm just being realistic because if this is any other team, nobody would give a damn. So with that being said, the Ravens are doing a hell of a job being able to take care of what they need to take care of this season. Still at the moment 8-6, going into Cincinnati and maybe pulling off an upset. I honestly doubt it. That's why I'm picking the Bengals. The Bengals have an opportunity to still win the division, even though they've played very sloppy this season, giving up wins that they probably should not have given up. But they have still opportunities to make up for those sloppy mistakes that you've made and to still build one another as a team finishing up this season. If they finish the season and win the division, it works tremendously wonders with them as a young crew moving forward. If they find a way to let it slip, it's just going to fill them even more going forward next season. But hey, Bengals, you have an opportunity to make a move and go from young cats to Bengal cats real quick ish.
Yeah, I mean, they need to grow up really quickly because I do think that they are probably going to win this division and they're going to make it to the playoffs. And they need to be more consistent going into playoffs if they want to have a good showing. If they want to show something for themselves, they need to be more consistent. They need to prove that they can win these games that they're supposed to win because they're playing a guy that's starting at quarterback that was on the street just a week or so ago. This guy has moved around. This guy has moved around. I mean, more than Army brat growing up. This dude has been all over and then some. And there's a reason why because he's not that guy. But we'll see. I mean, maybe the Ravens rally, maybe they do something. But really, for me, the one thing to note is because I think after this game, it becomes pretty much not official, but close to being official. John Harbaugh, you keep going for two. You keep going for two. You just think
you're bringing up
I'm
the
gonna
old
win
stuff,
this
huh?
game. Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, I'm bringing up the old stuff because you know what? When we look back on the Ravens season, even with all the injuries, even with everything that's been going on, all the skeleton crew talk, like you said, nobody cares because everybody's hurt. Everybody's going through COVID stuff. Everybody's got something going on. They still had a shot. They were leading the division. They had a chance with all that going on. And in week 13, the beginning of the end is what I'll call it. John Harbaugh decided to go for two against the Steelers. And we all know where that ended up. And since then, they lost to the Browns. They lost to the Packers. They probably going to lose to the Bengals. They probably going to lose next week to the Rams. And then they finish off the season with the Steelers at home. I wouldn't be surprised they lose that too. So you're telling me ever since that 2-point version call, these men are going to end up the season 0-6? It's highly likely.
Are you gonna bucket here on X Talking Ish?
I still want to see what comes. I mean,
I go 1-5. I go 1-5. I think they're
yeah,
gonna win
I
them.
think 1-5 is more likely because I think they might be able to pull off that one against Pittsburgh at home. I think they got too much pride. I think that Lamar is most likely going to be back for that one. If not Lamar, Huntley will be back at least. Huntley might even be back against the Rams, and we'll see how the Rams play today, whether or not they convince me that they're ready to go back to being the favorites in the NFC. But yeah, I just 1-5 or 0-6. I think it's definitely 1-5 or 0-6. I don't think they get more than one.
I know it's easy for us to talk about Bengals on the Bengals side of things. It's easy to talk about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but the player I feel like that needs to have a big game for the Bengals to make sure that they take care of business today is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, I think, minimum has to have 20 carries, 100 yards, and really, Bengals work that running game, get that running game back, and seriously put yourself in position to where you can not just win this game, you can also work on your offense to get ready for this last 3 games of the season, to get ready for the playoffs if that's what you're hopefully long-term seeing, to actually make a run. Because Nobody really expects the Bengals to do anything. So why not go out there and just play free and enjoy yourself as the young Bengals and let it all hang. Lee also says in the comment sections, y'all don't think Josh Johnson can bring the spark like he did for the Jets? No. No. Huntley, I think if Huntley was there, yes. Johnson,
Did he win any games with the Jets? I don't think he won any games with the Jets.
people win. Hey, everybody win games with the Jets. The question is, do you stay long enough to actually win multiple seasons with the Jets? That's the real question, and that's a no. So we're gonna go ahead and move on because nobody really wants to talk about this upcoming game. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about this very shortly before we move on to the game that everybody really wants to talk about. Bears Seahawks. I want to go chalk on this one because I know it's pretty easy to say, oh yeah, the Seahawks are going to win this game. I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be a big game for Justin Fields. This is a guy that I'm assuming.
He's out.
Oh Lord, I definitely forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure they said he's out. Let me confirm.
Let me double check.
I'm pretty sure they say he's out. He tweaked his ankle, and he's. I thought they said they already came out and said he was out.
I'll see my injury list.
Bro, he missed time this week due to an ankle injury.
Okay, well, my apologies.
Yeah, they starting Nick Foles. Nick Foles is starting. Okay.
My apologies. I missed that one then. Okay, well, let's run that one back. All right. Thank you, everybody, for Lee and Lee as well for reminding your boy that Lee is the starter. I appreciate the update. But with that being said, I'm still going to pick Nicholas Foles to finish and win this game because yes, this is a meaningless game for both teams. So, like I said before, this is a pride type of game. If Justin Fields was starting this game, I was assuming that this was going to be a Justin Fields type of look up to Russell Wilson because when he was in his younger years, he was looking to a guy like Russell Wilson. So I felt like he wanted to, of course, show out, but it's neither here nor there. And to be honest with you, again, with the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks just packed everything in. I know you picked them-ish to win this game, but again, the Seahawks are a team that reminds me like the Giants. Is like, what direction do you go from here? You had a good run in 2000s with Pete Carroll, LOB, Russell Wilson, but everybody keeps saying ever since they did not give the ball to Marshawn Lynch, everybody just keeps on saying that the Seahawks have not been the same, both sides of the ball, and also relationship-wise, maybe with Pete Carroll and the defense and just those guys. Because it seems like Pete Carroll has went the Russell route instead of the team route. So it's just interesting with the dynamic that dynamic that was at one point in time, like there was the NFC standard, and now it's just crumbling right in front of them. I'll be interested to see where everybody goes from Pete Carroll to Russell Wilson and even the other young guys in Seattle, because right now, I mean, Seattle is a shell of itself. On both sides of the ball, it's a shell of itself. Jamal Adams is hurt every year, not living up to his contract. DK Metcalf, he makes plays here and there, but let's be real, the number one wide receiver on that team is Lockett. I mean, again, if you actually watch football, you should know it's Tyler Lockett. That's the number one wide receiver. But with Seattle, it's just it works. Everything works because Russell is the one he's the composer of the symphony. He's the one that's conducting everything, and if he's not there and he's not on point, then the Seahawks team cannot be as great as it is. So it's going to be very interesting for the Seahawks organization moving forward to see where they go, and especially maybe the draft capital that they're able to get back if they are able to trade Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I love everything you said about Seattle. There are a lot of question marks. There are a lot of things going on. It might be the changing of the guard in Seattle once the season is over, but that has nothing to do with today because you have a very poor Chicago Bear team going to Seattle. They're going across the nation.
It ain't that far. It ain't that far.
They're going across the nation to go play in Seattle. They got Matt Nagy still as the head coach. They got Nick Foles
getting a big win today.
I just don't see it happening. I like what you said. The one thing that scares me about Chicago playing Seattle today with Russell Wilson's ankle injury, Robert Quinn, and the number of sacks he's been able to generate. That's the one concern I have. You got Russell Wilson with a bum ankle. This defense, they normally show up and show out when everybody's counting them out. The one problem for me is it's in Seattle. If it were in Chicago, I definitely would be picking Chicago because I think that the defense will keep it so close that Nick Foles was going to be able to find a way to relive his heydays, right? But I just don't see that happening in Seattle. I think Russell Wilson and the Seattle team are going to have a little bit of pride about themselves. They're going to want to pull something out of the hat just that one last time. I know we all talking about them ready to move on and so on and so forth, but at the same time, I think he got a little bit of respect for himself. He ain't about to lose to the Bears at home. So, yeah, Matt Nagy, go ahead, get out of there. I need you to lose this one so that you can be gone.
You and this Matt Nagy stuff.
Matt Nagy needs to go, bro.
3-year extension, baby. 3-year extension. He back. All right, speaking of people who's back, Mr. Patty Mahomes and this Kansas City team with mostly their defense leading the way, playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. The Kansas City Chiefs, of course, getting things the way that you need to make a legit Super Bowl run. This is a team that's been doing it the last couple of years now and trying to make a third Super Bowl run. And when a lot of people thought that, hey, they were out of it, it looks like they are charging right back at it and actually have the NFL leading win streak at the moment with 7 wins. And at one point they were 3-4, now 10-4 on the season. And let's be real, if this was a better Steelers team, it'd probably be a better matchup. But with the way that the Steelers have been playing and the way the Chiefs have been playing, this probably could get ugly depending on how the Chiefs play. Because again, the way that that defense have been playing, I mean, it's been outstanding. And for the Steelers, it's like we talked about with the Seahawks. This could be another changing of the guard type of team, to where we know Big Ben is leaving, but who's going to be the one that's going to take over and carry the throne for the Steelers moving forward? Because the Steelers, of course, they won a big game last week against Tennessee Titans. A lot of people didn't think that they would win that game, but they ended up winning a very big game. This is another opportunity for maybe Mike Tomlin and that Pittsburgh Steelers to show people, hey, we're not dead just yet. You know, I know a lot of people are counting, or y'all are counting us out, but if they're able to win this game, then hey, they're 8-6-1, and you know they're still not out of it just yet. But if they lose this game, back to 500 once again. So we have the Chiefs. We both have the Chiefs for this game. Ish, how do you see this game going?
Yeah, I have the Chiefs winning this game for a number of reasons, but the Chiefs, if they win this game, they clinch a playoff spot, and they're really close to clinching the AFC West. So this is a big game for them. They need this game, but I don't see it as a runaway. I don't see it being getting ugly. I think that it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I think that a lot of it's going to lean on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think he has got to run the ball well today. If he does not, this Pittsburgh defense is second in sacks, and TJ Watt against this line is a big question mark for me. If there is no run game and you're relying on Patty Mahomes to drop back a lot, and you're putting the game pretty much in TJ Watt's court, it could be a situation where, like we saw last week, Pittsburgh ends up winning the game, because I think that their defense, they are able to make plays. They do put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes against teams that have defensive lines that can rush the quarterback and find a way to the quarterback, they struggle. We saw it happen in the Super Bowl. We've seen it a couple times this season. If you can get pressure without bringing the blitz, it puts them in a different situation, a difficult situation that the Chiefs don't always handle well. So I think that a lot of people are overlooking this Steelers team. I think the Steelers team still have a little bit something to say. Like you said, Mike Tomlin always prepares his team. They are still in the hunt to win the AFC North. You know, with the Bengals, who we were just talking about, playing the Ravens, they automatically, if they can win this game, the Steelers can step up into the second spot over the Ravens, and then put a lot of pressure on the Bengals. Yeah, they can steal it.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting. It's an
there's a lot to
interesting
play
game.
for in this game, but I just think that the Chiefs, they have figured it out. They're playing a lot better. The defense, like you said, has been playing really well. If the defense is able to continue, which I expect them to continue against the Pittsburgh and this distracted receiving core, because obviously there won't be any music playing. I guess they still got music playing in practice, so I don't expect the receiving core to do too well. I think they're going to struggle a little
It's just
bit.
evil laugh. Ish, do your evil laugh one more time.
Nah. But I do think that the running game for Pittsburgh is something that for their side as well. If they're able to get the run game going, then they got a shot.
I will say this before we move on. One of the biggest news is Travis Kelce will not be playing this game
Yep.
due to, of course, COVID-19 protocols. And with that being said, the Kansas City Chiefs are a 10.5-point favorite. If you are in Vegas or any other of these great states that have legal betting, go ahead and take those points. I do not think the Chiefs win this game by more than 10.5 due to Travis Kelce being out. Not because I don't think Travis Kelce. Because I think Travis Kelce will score 3 or 4 touchdowns. I'm just saying because Travis Kelce is Patrick Mahomes' safety blanket or across the middle. With him being out, I don't think they would. The Chiefs put up more than 10.5 to beat the Steelers. That's all. All right, let's go ahead and move on to that other AFC West matchup: the Broncos and the Raiders. We already know the Chiefs' favorite teams to play against. Let's make this short and sweet-ish. I have the Raiders. You have the Broncos. I'll let you start this off with Backpack Boy.
Yeah, Drew Lock has traditionally played really well against the Raiders. I think that I believe Lock is starting because of the concussion to Theodore. And he has never thrown an interception against the Raiders. That's one big thing. His passer rating has been at least 90 in his 3 career starts against the Raiders. Although that defense is, playing a little bit better or whatever, I think that, if there's any team that you want Drew Lock to face, it's the Raiders. And I think that the Broncos, they do have a defense. They have that secondary. PS2 has been playing really well. I just think that their defense is going to step up. They don't like the Raiders. They don't like playing against this team. They don't like, being behind the Raiders, especially. They're tied right now 7-7. I mean, this is really important for them. They need to go out and win this game. The Raiders do as well, but I just think that for me, when I look at teams playing in a division battle, defense is the key. Defense is where you win that game, and I like this Denver defense.
Now, I respect everything that you said, especially at the end of the Denver's defense. You are correct. The Las Vegas Raiders defense, another season-ending injury for Jonathan Abrams. That's a guy that, as much as I like watching him play, I remember when he was on Hard Knocks for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I could just tell that he's just a young, hard-headed type of guy. And what I mean by that is he wants to blow you up every time you touch the ball. And so far, the last 2 years, he's hurt himself to where he hasn't been able to finish the season. And even when he was a rookie, John Gruden loved it, but he also didn't like it because he also knew that, you need to chill out because you're not going to get somebody else hurt. You're going to get yourself hurt. So what I've seen with him is he can be the leader for the Raiders. He can be that Woodson guy for the Raiders in that backfield, but you can't be that guy if you're on the sideline.
Yeah, you got to be available.
And you got to be available. So for him, he has to figure out a way how to play the game like it's as physical as a guy like LOB is safety. Cam Chancellor, my bad. Cam Chancellor. But you also have to play methodical like a Sherman. Just keeping with LOB. But with Abrams, I like the way he plays. But again, with the season and the injuries, that's something that I have to look out for. Overall, with the Raiders, I'm just looking at their veteranshipness, with leading the way by Derek Carr. That's in there at home. That's the only reason why I'm picking this team to win. Both teams going to this game are 7-7, and actually the line for this game is even, meaning that this is a traditional, truly pick'em game where nobody really knows who's going to win this game. So it'd be interesting to see another divisional game. We'll see what happens with that game. And another divisional game to end this Sunday slate. The Washington football team versus the Cowboys. We called, of course, a couple of games earlier on this show the Toilet Bowl. I'm calling this the Petty Bowl because the Washington football team decided to pull a page out of the Dallas Cowboys playbook, which they just did a couple weeks ago, and bringing their benches to Washington. Well, Washington football team said, you know what, Cowboys, since you're going to do it, we're going to do it too. Since y'all ain't got a name, we're going to, since we don't have a name, we're just going to copy everything everybody else do. We're just going to bring our benches to Dallas.
They need to be worried about winning the game.
That's all I'm saying. You worry about the wrong damn thing. You worry about benches. Dallas brought their benches because they didn't have no heated benches. Those are completely different things. Rob Dallas brought it. But anyways, the point is, that's how, the same way you talked about Bill Belichick, the boogeyman being in the Bills' head, the boogeyman. This is the Dallas Cowboy and Washington football team's head. Why? You play indoors. You play. There's no way you say, "Oh, we're bringing our bench because we want to keep our players warm." We bringing it. You know what? You know what I'm waiting for? Honestly, is I'm waiting for this game. I'm waiting for this game to be over with, and the Cowboys better win this game because you know what? Win or lose, the memes are going to be going ish. The memes are going to be galore because it's going to be a lot of hee-hees and ha-has to end tonight. Because either way, if the Cowboys win, Washington football team gonna get their laughs, and if the Cowboys lose, we're gonna get laughs on both sides. So either way, we're gonna get us some laughs by the time Sunday night is over with. Ish.
Oh man, Cowboys gonna win this game. Cowboys clinched the NFC East with a win here. I definitely expect them to do that. There's not much to say here. Washington is being childish and trying to bring their benches, but the joke's on you because if you go out there and you have a stinker, everybody going to be over there talking about how you were worried about bringing benches instead of worried about winning a game. So,
and I don't expect this from a veteran guy like Ron Rivera to do this type of crap. Yeah, that's an old school guy. You feel me? But he wanna whatever. Go Ish.
Whatever. I mean, yeah, it's whatever, man. I don't even want to talk about that anymore. Cowboys gonna win this game. I'm gonna be ready to roast them on Tuesday. I feel the exact same way.
Like I said, this is the Petty Bowl, and both teams need to. The Cowboys more than the Washington football team. The Cowboys need to get their stuff together because if the Cowboys want to live up to what Ish's expectations, which is making it to at least the Super Bowl. He thinks maybe they can win. I don't know when yet, but at least make it into the Super Bowl. Then we have to see how they finish off the rest of the season. But right now, hey, Ish, I know you won a lot of chalk on a lot of these games, on a lot of these picks, picking the favorite, but we're gonna see some upsets today, same way we've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks in the NFL. That's all I'm saying. It's gonna be some upsets. We're gonna see what happens, but we appreciate everybody as always tuning in. X Talking Ish on our pregame show. We will see y'all tomorrow, Monday Night Football halftime show. We'll also see y'all on Tuesday for our Week 16 recap show. As always.